Yo, good evening. Welcome to Airfix and Chill, everyone. It's a Monday night. Excuse me, I'm full of cold. Again, it's like, it's honestly, I just seem to catch it every time. I had it 3 weeks ago, knocked me for 6, and it's knocked me again. I'm like, ugh. I'm like streaming, but not on YouTube for other places. But anyways, good evening. We've got some old favourites in tonight, which is fantastic. Some of the OGs turned up. We've got Fenris, who's building. There's like an engine to me. Is that an engine?
Yep, it is the engine to the Jurassic Park Explorer.
Oh, it's got to be something.
Yeah,
Dinosaur.
Yep.
Oh, that's good. We've got Captain VFC in. Hello, mate. How's it going, Matt?
Hello, good to see you again.
And you too. What have you got on your workbench?
I have an old Hella SV4 that needs rigging.
You lost me at Hella, mate. Sorry.
Yeah. Weird Belgian thing.
Looks remarkably like a tiger moth.
It's a bit smaller than a tiger moth. It's also 1/50th scale. So I did have something else to do, but I spent the day building it, so now it's sitting there drying.
Oh, fair play.
Oh.
Yeah, productive.
Fair play. We have Lexi, Miss Modeler.
Hey.
Nails. I'm loving the armor nails, by the way. Do you find it just when you're like walking in nature, do you find that your fingers look weird because you can't see your nails?
Well, yeah, I did go up walking yesterday, and I did get concerned that all my nails have fallen off.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say yeah. So she's gone for that, and we've got James to boldly go. He's in, our regular, and we have also Zinzan's also in. Hello, my friend.
Greetings and salutations.
We missed you last week because you were travelling up top north, wasn't it?
Oh, well, yeah, so far north, I almost got a nosebleed. It's terrible.
Oh, dear.
There we are. Nice
Did
to
you
be
need
back.
a passport when you went north then?
No, they didn't need one this time. So, rumour has it that I may be going even further north.
You mean north of Watford? What?
Whoa.
Yeah, absolutely. What can I say? There we are. Watford Gap Services.
Yeah.
But yes, I shall make every effort to turn up to these soirees. They're very good fun.
Yeah. Right. Anyway, so tonight is an Ask Us Anything. So M-A-M-A. So Ask Us Modelers Anything. Nothing political, because I don't know whether that Keir Starmer video is AI generated or not. I know it's all over the shop, but I don't know anything. AI is a dangerous thing. So any politics or nothing, we're going to talk about scale modeling just as an example. But we've got 2 already in. So basically, if you've got a question for us, we're hopefully going to discuss it. We'll ask if you've got some tips, some advice, your thoughts, what our thoughts on certain things in the scale model community. Let us know by putting QQQ or question in capitals at the front. And James and I will star the ones that we see, and we'll go through them one by one. All right. So at the first one, we go to this. I think he's doing that already, which is good. So the first one I saw was Graham Ball. Graham Ball. Good evening, Graham Ball. Question. Any tips on making nice bases for 1/35th tanks? And the guy you need to ask isn't here.
Yeah, I was just thinking, where's Luke?
Where's Luke? Well, where'd you start? I've only just started building bases personally. I use a product. There's 2 products I've been using, and I've got it here. I used this Smart Mud from Humbrol, which you can buy from any reputable scale model shop that wants to deal with Humbrol, if you know what I mean, and I think you all do. And the next stuff I've been using is Create and Shape from Deluxe Materials, which I then put a big blob of. It's like a powder, really. It's nice stuff. It's like a wet powder. Sorry, my fingers now. And then what I do is I grab a load of it out. I then add some brown to it, and depending, and I add the brown, and I keep adding. I don't put like a lot in. I start mixing it with a little bit of brown, and I keep putting brown to it till I get a good consistency. and then or good color. And then what I've been doing is I've been buying little glass frames, 6x4, 5, and I then push that down into some sort of surface. Then I let it dry, and then I cover it in where I want to cover with PVA glue, and then I use, if I've got it here, I've got some grass. And I use a little gadget with, I haven't got it here, I'm afraid, but you can buy grass in bags like this. And I use this little machine that shoves through static electricity to make it stand on end, and then wait for it to dry. Then that's for doing grasslands and mudlands. I don't know about anybody else if they've done anything else.
Well, I personally, I think obviously we need to speak to Luke to give us some guidance on them, but I use picture frames, 6x4 picture frames, because they're ideal for 1/48 scale armor.
Yeah,
They'll fit pretty much everything, anything in will fit on my nose bases.
Yeah.
I use air drying clay as the base.
Yeah.
Paint it and then put the grass on it.
Okay.
Yeah,
What about using Zan? What do you use?
Well, back in the days when I did, and it's some years ago, I would use plaster of Paris mixed with sawdust and then onto a base of thin ply. It was all very medieval, I would have to say, but it worked pretty well. It gave you an irregular surface to be able to play off, and then you basically work it there with further plaster mix. You know, either very, very dilute or not very dilute, depends on which way you want to go.
Yeah.
So I think above all else, when starting with these things, you just have to have a plan. You can't make it on the hoof. You have to think, draw yourself a diagram and say, I'm going to have this here, I'm going to have that there. This is where my piece is going to go, and there you go, and then go. I think that's one. Sorry.
I'm just going to say that I need to emphasize that plan part, because that makes all the difference. Like, you can have the same materials, same everything. Having a plan and not having a plan, you can tell the difference. Just hands down.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's right. Yeah, I get that. He's popped in, Luke. Evening, folks. Have a great stream. Thanks, Luke. I wish you were here. Maybe what we'll do is we'll section that off for another Airfix and Chill night, and we will we'll talk about dioramas and bases, because there's so much out there now. You know, when I bought my Ferguson tractor, I've got it up here actually. I'm just going to really good thing, and I know Matchbox has been doing it for years, but that there is a back form diorama base. He's making so much noise. A diorama base. So yeah, it's you can buy a lot of them now are doing these 3D resin print things as well, which you can based on. There's a lot out there. So
XPS foam you can use.
Yeah.
Sonny's the man who know about dioramas as well. So if he wants to pop in, he's quite welcome to pop in. The link's in Discord, mate, if you want to come in. But perhaps we'll do that. What I'll do is we will in the future do an Airfix and Chill where we have diorama
people that know things.
People that know things, and we'll take it from there, most definitely.
It's been a few years since I've done some heavy material work on a railway.
Yeah.
I used to use chicken wire and bloody plaster of Paris, the old bandages.
Yeah. Well, screwed up newspaper. That was the sort of things that we used to use, wasn't it? I mean, the thing I would remark on here is that in the 40 odd years of me starting making models and then coming to them now, the change is really night and day. I mean, when you think about what Moss just showed, those little diorama bases and so on, You can create a vignette really easily, and you can turn it into something quite unique. Actually, I was just looking at that, thinking, there's a plan on a piece of plastic, of plastic, and you can then turn that into something really unique. You know. So yeah, there's a huge change, and it is simpler than it was.
Yeah.
Right, next question. So we go to Starred, and we got one here. Question. Has anyone built a Protar kit? If so, what are they like? Been asked to build one for an M8? No, I'd never built one, but they've been around for a few years. I thought they did motorbikes. Didn't they do like a Moto Guzzi bike, which was really pro
yeah, because they're reboxed by someone else now, aren't they?
I'm just wondering that. I'm sure that I
know when the Pope of Plastic does his vintage walkarounds, and he says, "I avoided them like the plague." So
yeah, I don't know much about them. I'm afraid they're not something that's on my radar.
no.
To be honest, anyone here built one?
No, not me.
No.
Protar are reboxed by Italieri. Ian's saying.
Okay. The best bet is to have a look on Scale Mates at what you're looking at building and just see if anybody's built one. I have no idea. Sorry, I really don't. No idea on that one. But yeah, here's a good one from Gary. Yeah, I like this one, Gary. We can speak all night about this. Question. What do you think the future of 70-second scale, considering a lot of manufacturers are releasing more 48 these days? Will it eventually disappear? It will not disappear.
Not at all.
No, absolutely not.
So, there's too many hardcore 70-seconders out there.
It's too perfect to scale. For maybe not for people that want a lot of detail, but that's not most modelers, is it? Most modelers are just ones that chuck something together in a weekend and need somewhere to put it. 70 seconds. That's the obvious scale.
Exactly.
Well, I've got to find room for the Lysander in 148, and that's a big plane.
Yeah.
And also, you know, can you really, I see 148. There's a lot of planes out there in size that are 172nd, and you can't imagine them being releasing 148 at a reasonable price. And size-wise, they'll be too big. You know, imagine
XB70, an XB70 Valkyrie in 170.
Yeah,
it's nearly.
Lexi's building the Convair B36, isn't she? So, and that's a big plane.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, even the SR71 in 148 scale is a big old bit of kit. You know, and 172, it's reasonably sizable as well.
Yeah.
You know, so no, it's not going anywhere. 172, not in a hurry. I would say.
I do think that we're going to see a lot more 148 start to pop up, but I don't think that means it's the death of the 172nd. I just think that it means the industry for the next couple of years is going to have a few. You know.
But I do see that there is a downturn to 172nd scale. There's definitely a downturn to it. Whether that will be the right thing, you know, we've seen Airfix releasing 148s, but they haven't forgotten the 172nd. Revell, you know, they've just released their new Lightning, haven't they?
Yeah.
And that's 72nd scale. Don't know about Tamiya.
Tamiya do 172nd scale kits, but most of them are tooled by other people.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's never really been their market as much, though, has it?
Yeah.
No. Not at
Well,
all.
they do 1/100 scale, don't they? As well.
That's true, but they haven't released them. They haven't tooled them for a long time. But if you want to, like the Lightning, you know, that 1/100 scale Lightning is a fantastic little kit. Model Minutes built it, and it's great. Even has reset panel lines for the 1970s.
Oh, you got the kit of the 262 and the Comet, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. It's up here. Yeah, that's it. I've got a couple actually. I've got the MiG-19 Farmer.
Mama.
That comes with plough. That one does. And this one here is that one there.
Yeah.
And it's a it's a cracking little kit. I can't show you the decals, obviously, for obvious reasons. But it's all on. Well, it's all covered bits here. But yeah, basically that's it. Yes, there's just one bit falling off. It's in the box, but but look at the detail on that little, on the comment. Cracking little kit. So I can't show you the decals because there's a certain symbol on them. But yeah, it's a
think 148 scale's ideal for planes.
Yeah.
For the Royal Navy planes, because they all got fold up wings.
Yeah, that's it. While Sully's in now, where is it? So I missed you a minute, mate. Which one is it? That one there's the one I want. Paul Wiltshire Models. How do I make the concrete pads that aircraft sit on cardboard? Go on, Sully. Show us your workings.
What, on cardboard?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, what I've actually found is quite good is stippling, because it will give you texture.
Yeah.
You can always, I don't know, you don't want to. Got to be careful with car, because if you use anything that's particularly wet, it's going to warp it.
Yeah.
I tell you, if you can find, you should be able to find them cheap. Some cork tiles. You can get some small cork tiles. That will do you. They are. You can get some. Because I did some of the ones. You get some self-adhesive ones.
Yeah.
And then just paint them in a sort of a mix of sort of greys and browns. Because the cork will do you, because once it's done, it does give you a bit of a concrete sort of looking texture.
Somebody recommended these to me from.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do.
They're only £1. But I use these for my turntable when I'm spraying in the booth. But I bought them originally. One of the reasons was because you can do a lot with cork, because you could break these up and layer it. You could if you want to do all that work. They're not as tough as you think they are. They are quite brittle. But you get that edge, can't you?
Yeah, I was gonna say, when it breaks up, you get that nice kind of natural edge on them as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're using quite a lot for boulders and stuff.
I've actually just had a thought. The old cake bases, the silver cake bases, they've got a texture on.
Yeah, the problem with those is that the texture is not scale width in terms of scale size, in terms of, let's say, 148 scale. What I would do and have done in the past is use really coarse sandpaper and then stipple it with card.
Yeah.
And then you get something that is quite small, and it's random as well. The other thing to think about is that with concrete, obviously, there are gaps between the concrete layers to allow for expansion, and they fill them up with rubber. So it's as well to just research how big the concrete pads would be, because they might be different at Boscombe Down, for example, to what they might have been at Coningsby.
Yeah.
So if you can go down a real rabbit hole with this. It's certainly possible to do. But yeah, sandpaper and thin card to create that stippled effect is that works quite nicely.
I think you've just got to, the thing about dioramas is there are no rules. If you think about it, you're not building the planes. You're not having to follow step by step by step. Try things that work. There are people out there who build dioramas from soil and sand from the beach.
Yeah.
Just go out
or
there.
They use soil and gravel from their garden, don't they?
Yeah.
Or plants from the woods, little plants from the woods. It's amazing what people can do with these things. And
the only thing I would suggest, if you're using stones and rocks from your garden, is wash them first. Give them a really good old wash.
Yeah, you don't want dog poo, dog piss on them, do you? That's not good.
Give them a wash and with soil, pop them in the oven for a little bit to kill off any bacteria that might be in there. Yep.
Yeah.
Any bit of your dead ex-mother-in-law?
Yeah.
Yep.
What? Nothing?
Dear me. Yeah, we I did this nice little bonfire from ashes with my grand. You know what I mean? It's I would be a little bit more, bit more careful on that. But yeah, that's what I would suggest. Don't just, there's all sorts you can use. There's cloth, there's leaves. You could dry out leaves. I know people that dry out leaves to get that brown effect. As long as you give them a good coating of a good varnish, they'll stay the same forever. They're quite brittle though. That's the only thing. They're quite brittle. Right. Next question. Going down through. We got any more questions so far? The question was, which MOS chip is your favorite, and why is it the 6502? It's not. It's 6510. If people don't know, MOS 6510 is the chip that was in my first computer, which was a Commodore 64, and I used that username for everything. And when I started doing YouTube, I used that, and it was called originally MOS 6510 Productions because I was doing videos about vehicles. Then I turned it into models. That's the only reason why. But I've been called MOS for years because of that.
So you were born out of AI then, Moss?
I was, yeah. There'll be no videos. I was a child of the 80s, so yeah. Bake soil in the oven first.
Yeah,
that's a
good tip from Hobby Time there.
Yeah. Make sure the worms are taken out of it first.
Yeah.
Black Rifle saying cork tiles stippled with Mr. Surfacer 500.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Definitely a good one. Carl Hackman, all my kits at the moment are 172nd, but have a couple of 148s on order because they were cheap. Yeah. If you look over the past 10 years, 15 years, the detail in 132nd is now in 148.
Yeah.
What was in 148 is now in 172nd. That Chinook, the quality of that is amazing in 172nd. And it's quite a big aircraft. Now imagine doing that at 148. It'll be huge.
Fail is here. Woo.
Sorry.
The first thing I noticed that in was the Airfix retooled Hurricane.
Yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal detail in that.
Yeah.
Well, the Typhoon does, doesn't it? The Hawker Typhoon.
Yeah, Typhoon came out a bit later, didn't it?
Yeah.
I built both of those. They're both really, really good kits.
Yeah. Talking about Tamiya, is any? Oh, hang on, just quickly. I'll go back rifle. I do believe that 48 scale is an all-round good scale, but with a little bit of thought and practice, you could turn 72nd scale into something nice for a reasonable price. Yeah, that's a good show. Saying about Tamiya, anyone else seen? I did a video on it, but I've had because I saw it on Scale Mates, I thought I'd be the first one out there. Anyone got any information about that new tank that's being put on Scale Mates?
Well, Tamiya do tend to announce once they've got obviously the H35 is coming out, isn't it?
Yeah.
What Hotchkiss 35?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they do it. They've got a pattern to their releases.
Yeah.
So I suspect it's going to borrow a lot of parts from the old tooling.
Do you think so?
Yeah, because they'll do a new tool for the economical reasons.
Right.
Like they did the for the Tamiya 148 scale Tiger 1. As I found out.
Yeah, well, I know very little about that particular tank. But is the chassis, is the body of it another tank? Then is it?
Well, I suspect the body's okay. The chassis showing its age.
Yeah.
So I suspect it'll be a new chassis with the old top on it. But I might be wrong.
But then somebody was saying that those new tanks, the M36, which was a 1960s release, were more 132nd scale, not 135th.
They are. Because if you remember, you did the review of that quad tractor, didn't you?
Yeah.
Tamiya do that now. Because they went through Italieri and suddenly it went from 132nd to 135th.
Yeah. But I don't know, all I saw was your scales, looking through Scale Mates, it says a new tooling. So I don't see why they, and also they were designed for motorized parts.
Yeah, they were.
Where the newer stuff isn't, is it so much?
No.
Most of the early 60s tools were motorized from Tamiya.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Question. What's the difference between an older 2021 chipmunk and the newer one at 2024? Is it just color scheme or something else as well? I really want to build one. I like red and white scheme. It's the same. It's just a new scheme. I don't think they added any new parts to it on that chipmunk. Not
They
that
do
I
the
know.
what? They do Prince Charles's Royal Flight one, don't they? And it's got slight detail differences on it because it's got an additional light.
God, yeah, but that's
It'll be pretty much the same kit.
pretty much. Yeah, there was a lot of difference with the chipmunks, were there?
Hmm.
You know, they were around for 60 years, weren't they? Was it 1940?
1945 they first come into operation.
45. And they're always used as a trainer, weren't they?
Yeah.
Because if you're in the air cadets, you would be trained into parachute jumping just in case it crashes.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was the Air Cadets elementary trainer for many, many years and was taken over by the Bulldog.
Did you ever fly in one, Zimzan?
Yes, yes. I did a Royal Flight Past.
Do you remember the control? Do you remember the control cables beside your arm?
Yeah. My claim to fame for anybody who might be interested is I took my first flight on a chipmunk at RAF Coningsby. I was, I think, 15 at the time. This was the home of 228 OCU, where they were flying Phantoms. And I did a Royal Fly Past because the radio broke. And if the radio fails to transmit properly, you wait for the gap in the circuit, and you then fly past the control tower and waggle the wings like this. And as we did this, I saw some guy on the observation platform below the control tower waving. So I just waved back at him.
Aye.
And you immediately get in the control tower, you get a red light or a green light. Green light just means land immediately. So you take right hand circuit and then basically land and then get off the runway as quickly as you can.
Yeah.
If you get the red light, that just means go away and come back later.
Yeah.
And so we got off the runway, no problem at all. And this flight lieutenant approached me, and I was a corporal at the time, a cadet corporal, and he said, Corporal, he said, you'll have something to write home about tonight. And I said, why is that then, sir? He said, you've just done a Royal Fly Past. That was Prince Edward you waved to.
Hey! He's one of the royals I do like. I actually like him.
Yeah, I like him.
I always remember he was doing the what's it called, wasn't it? He was becoming a Royal Marine, wasn't it? And he had to quit because it was too tough for him. And they all had T-shirts, wasn't it? That you could turn a frog into a prince, but you can't turn a prince into a Royal Marine.
It was a shame, but no, that was in a chipmunk, and nice aircraft actually, very nice aircraft to fly.
Lazilo, hiya, my friend. That red plane looks fantastic. What make is that, please? That is the Hella.
Is that the stamp?
It is indeed. It doesn't have a box, but I've got its box art on a card.
Yeah, I thought
it's really nice actually for a medium scale.
It's okay. That's as good as I can say. I can say that it's okay.
It went together all right though, didn't it?
Yeah, it was fine. It's got large holes in it because it assumes you're going to use presumably 1-to-1 scale rigging. And the decals fell apart. There's very few of them, so it doesn't matter. The painting instructions are in French, which is fine.
Sacré bleu.
I painted
French.
I painted the interior blue because it's French. It should be green, but I just sod it. It's French.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Did they tell you to paint it rouge?
They literally don't tell. They don't tell you to paint the interior anything.
Yeah, VFC got told to paint it like one of his French girls.
Did red.
Small scale futures. Quickly going back to dioramas. Clean cat litter is great for rocky terrain. Remember that 80% of deserts are rock, not sand. Yeah, fair enough. They are rock, actually. Yeah, you're right. So yeah. Anyway, County VSC has that de Havilland. That was the first release, wasn't it?
Yes.
Remember when you put it together? Remember to cut the locating pins off on the wings because they buckle those.
Well, it's
otherwise it gets anhedral.
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say it's weird for me in that it's still sealed, but it isn't. I've just pulled it and it's
Yeah, that's the one that Sully built, the abortion.
Oh yes, that's right. Yes,
Isn't it?
Sully. That's your fault that Airfix sold out because he all wanted to do one.
That will be at Key Model World next weekend.
Are you going? Are you?
Unfortunately, I can't make it, but my club is, so
playing
some of my stuff will be there.
You'll be there
I
in
really
spirit.
wish I could go.
Yeah, you know it's my
But-
shit.
Is that the issue with it, Moss? It's got issues with the locating pins on the wings.
Yeah, that's what it was. I think Gary from Gary's stuff complained about it, and he worked out that there was an issue with the wings.
Yeah,
And I'm sure somebody mentioned on his video or something that
Jamie Hago
yeah,
mentioned it. You can file you file them, sand them down slightly.
fan them down just that little bit, and you'll be fine.
You need locating pins, you amateurs.
I know.
Disgrace.
Have a go at an Edward Illusion IL2 because that's got no locating pins at all. Good fun though.
Yeah, but you know, it's one of them lads, isn't it? When you get these kits, sometimes you know, I never had a problem. I was talking to Mac Models. I must get him on Airfix and Chill one night. He said he had a problem getting the bulkhead to go together at the back, and he said, "You have a problem with it?" So I watched his video, and he did have a problem, but like, mine just slipped in. It was great. So it might have been just on a slight angle or something for it to, but it's a great idea to do that. So, but yeah. Hi, LPJ Models. Nice to see you, my friend. You're welcome on board if you want. Or you
Modeling royalty.
Yeah, definitely. Too much.
Models with no locating pins. That sounds like the modelling equivalent of self-flagellation to me.
Locating pins are location pins are the is the butter between the breads. You've got to have them on kits. There's no point else because it's you get these kits like extra kits.
Whoa.
Special hobby.
Always pooping on Hannon's products.
Yeah, sorry, but one of them didn't come with locator pins. And trying to put that together, it's hard work. And I can't see it really being that difficult for a designer to put a couple of locator pins in just to give you half a chance of getting it right.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I find them easier to slip together to make sure all the edges are together.
Yeah.
I mean, that Edard Stormovic was a piece of cake to put together.
Yeah.
What, with locator pins?
It had no location pins at all. You just glued it, and then you just maneuvered the parts to fit each other. And it's
wow.
And even the wing groups all just went on. No bother.
Having no locating pins is better than having locating pins in the wrong place.
Yeah. Get the Airfix Gosling. That's a beautiful kit.
Yeah. Or that Spitfire that you built, Matt. At the location.
With a random pin that doesn't attach to anything.
Yeah.
Just on your toes. Yeah.
Yeah.
The pink peril, I think I should call that.
Yeah. Very much so. No, it was a Helikit, Laszlo. It was it's an old Helikit, that, not an Airfix kit. So.
Oh yeah, a Heli.
That stamp, yeah.
The Revell Shackleton AEW.2 172nd is big for the scale, and the detail is incredible. Do you know what? I've seen that for so scale. I wouldn't.
That kit is a frog kit.
No, it's not.
Isn't it?
I thought
No, it's not. The MR3, the original MR3 they did was a frog kit, and it used to come with a note of apology in it.
Did
they released the AEW 2, which is a new tool.
Yeah.
They released the MR3 again, which is uses the same most of the tooling from the AEW, but it has a shorter nose on the front.
Yeah.
So that's a Revell tooling now.
Yeah.
The general
It's a beautiful kit.
No. Oh, right.
I've seen it for sale on trade, but I've not seen it for sale in a shop for a while. But I've
I
seen
know they sell the new C Vixen as well, but that's a dragon tool, isn't it?
I think you're right, actually.
And the C Vixen's a really nice kit as well that Revell do, but they used to sell the old frog one, which I've just finished building, and great fun, but it's bloody awful.
And here's another member of royalty. Model minutes is in.
Right, they're all on tonight, aren't they?
Yeah.
As well, which is good. Yeah. Got any questions, lads? Just chuck them at us. We're pretty good at that. Going back to the old 148, 172nd debate, I think I'm at that age now where I do prefer building a 148 just because I'm not rushing, and you can't. I don't, as I said, I think there'll always be a place for 172nd. Is most of your builds 172nd, Lexi?
Everything I build is 172nd.
You've not done a 148. No, you can't say that because you did that Concord, didn't you? Which was 144, didn't you?
That was 172nd.
That was 72nd, that one.
Was it?
Yeah. So that's all.
Right.
How did you get on with that, Lexi?
Don't buy it.
Don't buy it. Right.
It's bad.
Yeah. I think it's been reboxed by about 8 different manufacturers as well.
Airfix boxed it as well, didn't they?
They did, yeah. As I said, the only decent Concord out there is the Airfix one. I built them all. The Revell one, I never got past finishing it. I did finish it actually, but the original. The only problem is there's no detail in it, So, but I've got both Concords. I've got. I think the AOC one is up the library, but this was having a repair job to it because I dropped it at Model Show. But it's even got the wheel on the back. But it's a pretty nice looking kit, to be honest. It goes together quite well. And I use a little bit of filler on the wing. But other than that, it goes together quite nicely. This is the one my mum flew in, which they landed in Exeter all those years ago. So my mum flew on that one.
Yeah.
I've got to congratulate Lexi on something else before. You've built Marivox Saab 105, haven't you?
I have indeed.
Congratulations on getting that thing together.
It's not that bad. It's
Did
not
you
like.
Oh my god! I had that kit and sold it because I didn't even want to start it.
It's really not like that bad. It's not like super easy, but it's
not like an Airfix kit though, is it?
It's not like what?
It's not like an Airfix kit. It's more limited run, isn't it?
Yeah, but nothing's really like an Airfix kit.
Yeah.
No,
it's like everyone complains about Pegasus, but I've made one of their kits now, and they're really not that bad at all.
Yeah, when you're used to KP, suddenly most brands aren't actually that bad.
Yeah, I think that's the advantage we have in it, VSC, is that we both love the short run.
Yeah, as old timers remember Smur.
Yes.
Yeah, Smur.
You used to have, you got as much flash in the kit as you did in the model.
Yeah, but they did it on purpose though. They gave you all that flash to make sprue goo for filler. Yeah. That's why they did it.
Put the filler in, yeah.
Has anyone here ever built Lindbergh?
Yes.
What are they like?
Do you know what? Basic.
Rustic.
Rustic's a good term.
So I've heard mixed reviews on Lindbergh. Some people say they're all right. Some people say they're not worth a quid.
Round 2 are only releasing the good stuff, aren't they, from Lindbergh?
Yeah.
So that tells you there's not a lot of, but it's like everything, isn't it? It's up and down. Just quickly, here you go, John Alec. Here's one for you. Tanu, I'm doing grime effect on a vehicle. Which varnish should I use? Gloss or satin? Also, for most military vehicles, for oil filter weathering, which varnish is better? You would know that, wouldn't you, John?
I would say matte.
Yeah. Oh, John.
I always use satin. For oils. Check out James LPG Models. He did a pretty scientific comparison where he takes matte satin and gloss, and he coats practically, and then he takes different oils and he shows you, well, if it's a gloss, the oils really will run around those the lines quickly. And so after watching that video, which is now like 3 or 4 years old, that's why I always use satin, because it's got a nice balance, and that's what just works for me. So
but it does depend on your ability, the ability to have to put the clear coat down.
Yes.
LPJ Models, could you link that video into the chat, please, so Tyler could actually watch it? That'd be good, mate. Put your video. You're a moderator, so you can put your video in there if you want to. So definitely do that.
But
I'll back that up, because I use satin. I use Winsor & Newton satin, actually.
Do you?
For almost, yeah. Because like John says, and to be fair, I got this from James as well, and I've used it ever since. It gives you that nice. So if it's too glossy, even if you leave the oil for a little bit, you wipe it, you pretty much clear it. You use a satin; it's got a mix of the grip and the maneuverability you want from gloss.
How do you thin that Winsor & Newton gloss? Then, or do you spray?
So
it
I've actually been using a bit of Tamiya. I was going to say extra thin then. Tamiya thinners.
X28,
just a bit, just a little bit. The same, pretty much the same as you mix any.
So it's an acrylic gloss then? Is it acrylic satin? Is it?
Yeah.
It's not, because whenever I think of glosses, I always think they're enamel. I don't know why. I just feel that enamel ones, but lacquer.
I mean, in a way, enamel. I mean, to be fair, actually, it doesn't really matter. But if you use enamel, it won't attack, or shouldn't really attack any acrylic.
Yeah.
That's why it's always good to if you're using oils, you use enamel or oil like artist oils, because it doesn't attack the paint or anything. It won't, because when you start trying to, if you want to do streaking stuff and you use an enamel thinner, it's not going to do anything. But if you use like an acrylic or water, there's a chance of it attacking it.
Yeah.
Interesting. You're just saying, is that Galleria? He's saying, Sonny, is that Galleria? Or,
I think he's on about gallery, but I'm not sure what he means either.
Sorry,
James. I might miss something.
Yes,
I'm not.
I
haven't got the chat up, so
I have some here.
Don't disappear to watch LPJ Models, but after the live stream.
Oh, that's sorry.
Hang on.
Yeah. I'm with you now. Yeah, it is that one. It's the Winsor & Newton Gallery. That one he's just put up varnish.
Oh, they do two acrylic varnishes. So you recommend that, do you? So anyway, right, let's see how much the wish list. Let me write that down. And so
I cut it with Tamiya thinners, but I don't know. I can't know what James does, but that's what I do.
Yeah. James, he does it with alchemy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the wizard.
Yeah. If anybody's got a problem, we all go to James with it.
Because I think it was him that got me into using Mig Ammo track wash and things like that on my tanks and stuff. Yeah, it's
if I quickly get my this on, Here
we are.
It's going to show.
Let me just get rid of the comment and get you bigger. There we go. Solo layout. There you are.
It's
so that's that semi-gloss varnish and Winsor. I use Winsor & Newton oils now.
Too clean.
But I haven't finished yet. But that's what I'm doing. I use the oil. Their oils.
What boat is that again?
It's an E-boat.
S100. Yeah, the E-boat S100.
Who builds that, sorry?
It's a Revell one, this one.
It's a Revell, isn't it?
It's a Revell one. It's actually quite nice.
Nice kit.
Is that aftermarket on there as well?
There is some aftermarket, but the only aftermarket you'll see on here, you won't. Well, half of it you won't see because they're the small handles. But that straps around the torpedoes is photo etch.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of photo etch on the front, but Pretty much all this as it is pretty much plastic. Oh, some of the ammo boxes at the front's what's it? But there is a bit on there, but not much on this bit.
Love the wood.
The wood effect, is that plastic?
Oh, sure. I was really chuffed at that. It was kind of one of those things. I did it, and it kind of just fell into place.
Yeah.
So I've got to try and figure out how to explain that on the video when it comes out.
That's incredible.
Yep.
Magic.
There you go. There'll be a lot
very
of people watch that video later on. His guide to washes. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a video on dark brown washers with decking, and it's quite interesting.
Yeah. Well, when I did my bulldozer, I used LPJ's method. He did like a little short on how to make leather look rough on a seat. And I used that on my bulldozer.
That's a couple of different sort of shades of brown with a Tamiya wash over it, and then I kind of went over it a little bit with some drier colours of the previous coat for that.
How do you do the masking on that, Sully? Was that blue tack or was it tape?
Oh God, don't fucking masking on this. I wish I'd never done it. I used vinyl.
Yeah.
You used vinyl, did you?
Put the clear vinyl sheeting.
Yeah.
No, the ones you can get masks for spraying markings and stuff on it.
Yeah.
That's that stuff, and it's an absolute art. Well, it wasn't too bad. The problem was just getting around stuff like this here. So I had to go redo a lot of this because it was either overspray or it just wasn't very well cut.
We were talking about this last week, weren't they?
Yeah,
about the vinyl masks, they don't cover curvature.
Do you buy the masks, do you, or do you cut them yourself?
No, I fucking cut them myself, didn't I?
Oh, that's all right.
Come on, you know, Mars, I do everything way more awkward than it needs to be.
Yeah, I get that. You do. Yeah, I do get that. But then again, you know, to be fair, I said to you, my thing this year is not to give a shit if I wreck a model. I spend all that time building a model up. I'm scared to do anything that will wreck it. And nowadays,
to be fair, it's the only way. It's the only way of learning it. I mean, even still, I mean, I've been doing this stuff for donkeys now. I still have moments where I'll sit there for a week looking at it, figuring out how I'm going to do it, and then in the end, I'm just going to have to do it because I'm not going to know until I've done it.
Yeah.
And if you screw it up, you screw it up. You know not to do that next time.
Like like on that Lancaster nose.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Don't
Nigel, help.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's the best way to learn, though.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Yeah. A lot of time you learn to never do it again.
Yeah.
But no, it's the only way to learn it. Otherwise, you just excuse me. You're just not gonna. You know, if you say, "Oh, I want to be like this. I want to be like that," but you're not gonna get there if you're not gonna do it. That's the thing. You've really just got to balls out on it and do it. I mean, if you've got an old, or you can pick up a cheap gash model, then you've got a test bed to play with. I've got one. I tried all sorts of stuff on it, just so I've got an idea how it's going to work, and then just have to sort of implement it on that particular model.
It's like a front line, isn't it?
Yeah. Because I mean, I've used stuff on aircraft for tanks, just so I've got an idea. Because I've got some actual plastic and some with some shape to it to work on, and then I've just got to figure out how it's going to work on the tank.
Yeah, exactly. Dare to F up. Yeah,
you learn from your mistakes.
Yeah, you do, definitely. And to be fair, I've got all the stuff here, like that strip magic from Deluxe Materials. If I do it wrong, I can strip it back. But it's going through that process again of sanding it back and then giving it a clean, giving it all the dust, and then primer it, and then go over it with a lacquer, and then try again. But I watched YouTubers and copy their techniques. Not mine.
So Carl's going to blame me when he can't build the Lysander then.
Well, I'm worrying because he's been asking me stuff about these 109, so it's going to look bad on me if you don't do it right.
Carl, you can blame me anytime, mate. It's all right. Don't worry.
It's all Sinner's fault.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
They all say that anyway. It doesn't matter. That vinyl stuff, by the way, Sully, I think I use this Cry Cut transfer tape, and that goes down quite well, and it's not over sticky either.
Yeah, this stuff was all right. I just bought some. I just found it on eBay, but for a lot of things it's okay. But if you've got something that's got some shape, or well, I say shape, but like really hard corners, at edges, it takes a lot of going to get it down.
Yeah.
Anything else is, if you want to use it to, like, you want to make roundels or lettering or something like that to go on something, it's perfect. It's great for that sort of stuff. And again, like Zen says, it ain't got a lot of. It's got enough tack to it to stick to it, but not to rip anything off.
With the cry cut stuff, you have to be a bit careful because the transfer tape, you can get high adhesion stuff, and that will just lift more or less anything off. It's not a good idea. Ask me how I know.
I found that out with the when I did the USS Franklin, because I had the Aztec Dummies masking set.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'd forgotten I'd painted the bits that's supposed to be sort of like a brown with Vallejo Model Air.
Wow.
And then I put the vinyl down on that, and it peeled the bloody paint off, didn't it?
Bloody hell. So is that Cry Cut worth buying then, to do your own masks and stuff?
I think it works really well. And I thought about the costing of it a little bit in terms of if you made a comparison between one of the well-known mask makers, and there are some very, very good ones. I mean, some of the kabuki paper masks that you can get are just amazing. I did some on the Qatari Spitfire. But in terms of, I've got the Joy, which is the little one that's about 6 or 7 inches wide, and you can make more or less anything. I mean, roundels is dead easy. Just measure the roundel and then just get off you go. And it creates them in seconds, and you can just put the whole lot down. You can pick them up, put them down, pick them up, put them down. It's absolutely simple. Do keep the paint dry if you can when you're spraying them, because you will get overspray quite easily because it's vinyl, not kabuki paper.
Yeah.
But because it's vinyl, it's easier to pick up and put down. And the transfer tape is see-through as well. You can get it down really easily. You can see what you're putting it onto, and it's much easier to get, to key them into the right place properly. So, I think they are worthwhile. And I got one.
I think Moz needs to find out whether they do the washi tape as they do it as in sheets.
Yeah.
Because that stuff, you can move it around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did ask the question about how thick they could do their rows. I mean, they said up to 50 mil, I think it was. 50 mil, 5 centimeters. I thought it was 5 or 4 centimeters. But yeah, I've got a Cry Cut, which was given to me, but I've never used it. Never used it. It's an old one, so I don't know if even the software works on the Mac. But
yeah, I use it on the Mac, and it works perfectly well. In fact, it's just updated the software the last time I used it. And I mean, interestingly, I used it for masking wheels, doing wheel masks on tanks.
So is it real time? Is it? So you measure up using a caliper, a video caliper thingy, and it'll say it's like 6 mil. You just do a 6 mil circle, and it'll cut a 6 mil circle. Is that simple?
I may do a video about this, but on the software, you can create a circle, and you can set it up to be a certain diameter, 6.5 millimeters.
Yeah.
You can then plant a square around that, so that will then create the cut. But what you have to do with it is to combine them together so that the Cry Cut looks upon them as one item. Otherwise, it will print you a square, and then it will print you a circle separately, which is absolutely no good to you at all. But once you've done that, it's really simple. If you want to create an oblong, you just unlock the square, then you can then create one longer side. So it's very easy. It's very intuitive to use, and you won't be filling up the swear box at any point. Well, not too much anyway.
Depends.
Well, I suppose it does really, but it's pretty straightforward anyway. Let's put it like that. And I therefore use masks for painting roundels and lettering, wherever I can, because the decal is too deep, And the painted lettering, the painted roundels have no depth to speak of, and you can weather them easily as well.
Yeah.
So it's dead simple. So if you, for example, with the wings of the Corsair, because part of the Corsair wings were doped canvas, if you paint a roundel onto that, it'll wear differently in the channels of the canvas as it will on the top of the ribbing. So you can make that happen. You can simulate that happening, and that's a really good thing to have, I think.
Yeah. Fair enough. I was given one because the woman upgraded to this new fandangled one, and I've just had it there in a box. It's even got a new blade on it, and I've looked at it and thought, you know what, maybe it's worth having a go. But it depends if it works on the Mac or not. That's the thing.
It'll work on the Mac. It'll work on the Mac. You know,
yeah,
I use it on that. Yeah, it's not a problem.
Well, I'll tell you what, Moss, you can use it on your dingoes you've got to build.
Yeah, I could actually.
Cloud camo for the Mickey Mouse camo.
Mickey Mouse camo, yeah.
Yeah.
That's LPJ Mods just asked, what's your main guitar?
I'm not sure.
I've got a Les Paul something there, like, you know, or
Gibson.
No, I have one of those little plastic ones that you get out of a cracker.
Mine's a Japanese Fender.
Oh, there we go. What can I say? But, yeah, look, thank you very much, LPJ. Thank you for noticing.
I wasn't going to say that I basically I've got my guitars. I've got an Ovation Sunbeam that I've had for years. Love it. Nice little curve back on it. Yeah. Back in the day. Ms. Modeler, what tornado is that you're building? Is it an Eastside one? No, it's not. Is it Eastside?
No, it's a Rebel one. But I was taking the decals out of the Esky one because I lost the decals. So
oh dear.
I think I built them.
Those Eastside decals, they last for years. They're really good ones, aren't they?
Yeah, it's what they were known for. It's what they got big with before they made kits.
Yeah. What happened to Eastside? You would know, John. What happened to Eastside? That's a good question, because I think Revell, not Revell, Tallery box a lot of their stuff now, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had their hands in a lot of pies, didn't they, at Tallery?
Is Eastside from Tallery then, or is it a different company?
No, they were a different company. I mean, they are Italian, but they were from a different company. The same as Zertal was a different company.
Yeah. Does the Tallery still release their kits, the Eastside kits? I know they did a lot of
Tallery ended up with the molds for them, didn't they?
Not all of them, but they bought out a majority of them when Esky went into financial difficulty.
Really?
On a lot of the Tallery boxes, though, they still show the branding for Esky when it is an Esky kit. So
yeah.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I've only ever built one Esky kit, and that was like a tracked car, I think it was. Military car, I think it was. I built for it.
I built their Ishii Hetzer in 72nd scale. Not a nice build.
Nigel says that Eastside kits have been reboxed as Humro and Tallery and Revell in the past. Bloody hell. Yeah.
Tallery and Revell and Tamiya have all got this sort of, you know, haven't they? So if one of them has released an EC kit in the past 10 years, the chances are the others have probably looked at the idea.
Yeah. There must be a warehouse full of all these old toolings, and they all club together and go, "Oh, this year we'll have a back of that one." Like, you know, Nigel's in the house. Oh, hell, Nigel. Nigel. Yeah, you can ask a question, LPJ models.
Yeah.
You know, as I said, we don't know what AI is. LPJ models, I have a violin but play piano. I play the smallest violin where people want a bit of sympathy. I play this one smallest violin between my fingers. People are welcoming Nigel and Dottie in. Good old Dottie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see much of Eastside these days, but I don't see a lot of Tallery out there either. I think the only reason like Atari was on my spectrum or in my visuals is because Nigel's building the Lancia.
Nancy, yes.
Yes, and Alex did a review on the Lancia as well.
Apparently, he's enjoying every minute of it, isn't he, Nigel?
A lot of filling. Right, if you was to buy an STL of a full kit to print, how much would you be willing to pay? I will be honest with you, I've been looking at kits that involve construction equipment. Now, this forklift truck here is all 3D printed for me in a box and everything. And that was 40 quid, I think it was. But I don't have the machinery to build it. I know it's a small thing. Was it 1/35?
What, you mean your humble printer can't print it out?
My humble printer is not a humble printer. It's a humble decal fixer. That's what it is.
A humble peg maker.
Yeah, humble painter. Yeah. You know what? It really depends on the size because there's a construction kit out there of a dumper that I used to drive, a Euclid dumper I used to drive, and they want like £300 for the STL files, and I think that's extortion. I think that you have to judge your talent, but also I also believe that if you put stuff out there and it's shit hot good, they'll be more willing to buy your STL files at a higher price. So I would start with the simple stuff that's easy, build a reputation, and then when you do release a full kit, STL file, but also you will lose I presume you lose any right to holding on to STL file because it'll be copied and pasted all over the place.
Right.
Which is why I believe that which is why I believe everything that 3D Gizmo does, he doesn't release the STL file.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, mate. Well, what is it? What is the STL file of? Is it is it a tank? Is it 1/35? Is it 144? Are you printing it or are you just releasing the STL file?
Oh no, it's Werner Voss again. He's done Matt.
Oh, you lost me there. Sorry. What you
No, Matt. LPJ did a figure of Werner Voss.
Yeah.
Standing looks remarkably like Matt from Model Minutes.
Oh, fair play.
Why did he do that?
No, it's just ironic. It's just the way he painted him.
Oh, is that?
Yeah, if Matt was German. That's interesting. Comment. If I was watching Big Jet TV, I watch him occasionally sometimes, especially when there's a storm on and he gets all, it's gonna be a fly around, it's gonna be a touch and go. Yeah, he's quite funny. He has a go, doesn't he? Comment. I was watching Big Jet TV Heathrow have an aircraft tug. Okay,
they have lots of aircraft tugs.
They do, don't they?
Because I used to work at Heathrow.
Which one is it?
All I know is that they had a sodding great Rolls-Royce engine in them.
Did they?
Yeah. I know that one of the aircraft tugs was used as a model for a basis for the armor personnel carrier in Aliens.
Yeah.
Oh, was that?
Good evening, Nigel. How are you, my friend?
Who went off as soon as I came on?
Oh, it's Captain BS. What's
Miss Muddler.
Miss Muddler.
Maxie, yeah, she went off.
Did I say or just my aftershave?
No.
Wasn't your aftershave? No.
Yeah, she had to go. To be fair, she's released a video today. She's done a live stream, and she only comes on for about an hour. Then she goes to bed. So
it's nice to see her because she hasn't been on for ages, isn't it?
Yeah.
I came off. Bloody hell.
No.
It's not your fault, Nigel.
She put in the private chat that she was going. So you know, but just her presence at time is really good. So
Yeah, the message was, I can smell Nigel from here. I'm going. Bye.
Yeah.
Or, oh no, not that prick.
Yeah. Nah, definitely not. No.
They usually say that about me.
Yeah. What would you pay for an STL file then, Nigel, if you wanted of a full model kit?
Nothing.
Nothing. You
I
haven't
don't
got a
have a
printer?
3D printer.
No.
One of the nicest things about a styrene kit is using Tamiya extra thin.
It's a difficult one, isn't it? But I'm noticing that the market now for 3D printed scale model kits is boom, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're so cheap to produce. So once you've got the software
Yeah.
sorted, then you're just. It's the same with plastic. You know, once you get the tooling sorted, you can bang them out for 50, 60 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the skills and the cost in creating a mold tool way exceed the skills and costs involved in creating a 3D print file. So, and I know there are people that will argue because they're really clever on a computer, but you go and make a machine tool, guys. Make a mold tool.
LPJ Models says it's not time cheap though. It's a lot, and I understand that. I think the problem is that like all these kits, they produce the part, realize it's not correct. They go back to the drawing board then and spend time editing it, and then spend the next 5 hours watching that thing get printed.
Yeah.
Well, they can set up a print, and then they can get all the way through it, and it fails right at the last second.
Yeah.
But that said, it's easier to correct a mistake than what it is if you're building something injection molded.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, is that this is the understanding we have now, is that Airfix will produce that kit in 3D resin before they even attempt to design the tool. Make sure it fits.
It's just a shame they don't do it with pylons, isn't it?
It's
or Eurofighter starter sets.
Wow.
Lighting satire.
Yes.
Yeah, Luke hasn't had any problems with his Typhoon.
Oh, he's built it wrong though, isn't he? He's built it with the tabs at the bottom, and it fits perfectly now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like that. You haven't seen my videos yet. My Typhoon is here, nearly complete.
Yep.
I don't believe you, Nigel. You'll never be complete.
With the cowling on. Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah.
Mine had a couple of bits that had broken off because of their cheapness with the plastic, not putting the outer frame. But thankfully, it was only the undercarriage, and I did it with the wheels up.
We've had this discussion. We need to find out why Airfix are really doing that. But every starter set's the same.
Yeah.
I mean,
the Shannon was the first one they did it on, wasn't it?
No. They've been doing it to all the cars. The only ones they haven't done it to is the Spitfire, the Red Arrow, the Tiger, and the Sherman. All the rest are the sprue trees.
Trees rather than frames.
Yeah, trees
I want to know why they do it, and also why are the only kit you get a sprue call out a starter set.
Yeah.
But Tamiya don't give sprue call outs, do they generally?
No.
It's very weird.
Do Revell do call outs for their sprues?
Yeah.
Yes.
On some of
The new ones they do.
The new ones do. Yeah.
Plus, if the original company that they're reboxing did a sprue plan, it'll be on the plans.
Yeah. 100% IM is set, and tool makers only allow for a few free corrections before charging. Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, but that's why the Tornado came out so late. Was because the Typhoon, came out so late. It's because they went back to tooling and it delayed it for another 3 months. So, I can't get on with Tamiya extra thin. It glues the plastic, but then at the slightest knock, the part I have glued falls off. I have switched back to Revell glue.
Is this Revell kits, Paul?
Is that
Is he using the quick drying?
Yeah, it's got to be the dark green.
That's a good point, James.
Something's happened with Revell plastic and Tamiya extra thin doesn't seem to work anymore.
Yeah.
And also old Takumi kits are the same.
Yeah. Well, if you want to save on money, use that. Or if you want something a little bit stronger, use that.
Yeah.
I use that to glue everything with now. That's the way.
Or I've transferred mine into a Tamiya bottle.
Yeah.
MIG ammo. Where is it? Where is it? It's gone. The
Yes,
MIG
yes, it's the Revell plastic. He's saying yes, it's the Revell plastic.
Yeah.
We had this before, haven't we?
Yeah, I never had it before I did the Hurricane, the 132nd Hurricane, and I actually emailed Revell and said, "What have you changed?" And they said nothing.
The light.
Person that's done a video build of that Hurricane had a problem using Tamiya. I'd like to know, Zinzan, have you had any issues with your SR71?
Yeah, well, I used extra thin quick setting right from the start,
and it works.
Yeah, on basically on the basis that you wise people said there might be a problem here, and it works very well. It's not an issue, and I might I am subjecting it to a test actually to see whether.
I haven't done the test yet. I've seen the samples.
No, I haven't. I haven't done the test yet. I keep thinking I'm going to do it, and then something else comes along. But I'll do it in the next 2 weeks. There you go. You've all heard me say that now.
So you saying don't use the dark green bottle, use the white use that one instead of the normal one. Okay.
Use white top with a green top brush.
Right.
Because Nigel told me to do it.
Yeah, get the when you run out of green, when you use a green top, change the brush over for your white top because the white top brush is like a foot thick.
Yeah, you can paint your wall with it, couldn't you? Yeah, you paint your wall with it. I mean, I use the wide brush to anoint the back end of joints when I've extra thinned it on the outside. Maybe that works quite nicely, and I think strengthens the bond. But other than that, no. So there you go.
Travis has made a comment. He's building a Rado AR-55, and Hugh's saying he's never had a problem. Now, it does seem to be random. I'm wondering if Revell sort of, I don't know, because it's only the Hurricane that I had a problem with.
Yeah.
Well, I think the last Rebel kit I built was the HMS Buttercup.
Really?
I had no problem with Tamiya extra thin.
How old was the kit?
To be honest, I bought it at the beginning of lockdown.
So it's 5-year-old.
First lockdown, 2021 or whatever it was.
The old plastic then.
Yeah.
I wonder if because a lot of the production is in Poland now, isn't it? Where was the Hurricane made to? Was that Poland?
Yes.
I'm not saying it's Poland. I'm just saying that it's there's the thing people don't realise is that there are recipes in plastic.
Oh yeah.
People are laughing and saying people are saying this new plastic from Airfix is amazing. But it's not new plastic. They've just gone back to the 1984 formula of plastic. That's what they've done. I'm sure that's what they said.
So what I'm hearing is Moz hates Poland. Cool.
No, you don't hear that at all.
Well, if Moz hates Poland, I'll make a phone call.
Yeah, yeah. But I was just saying,
when Airfix first went over to Indian plastic, that was about 1980, wasn't it? 1984, I think.
No, they only went to India when they got bought out by Hornby Hobbies.
And of course, the other thing is
Somebody was building because Indian plastic came on a Hamden bomber that I built, and that was in a Hella Humbrol box set from the early 90s.
Is that right?
It was dark grey, brittle as hell, horrible plastic. It was really awful.
I thought it was.
No, I built one of the test shots for the FA2, and the plastic was horrible.
Was that Indian?
Indian, yeah.
What year was that?
The
What
FA2,
year did the FA2 come out?
late 90s.
Yeah.
So when did Humbrol get bought out? 2006, wasn't it?
2006 is when Hornby bought Airfix, lock, stock and barrel.
Well, I left aerospace in 2000. Got made redundant by British Aerospace in 2000.
The reason I'm saying this is because when we were talking to Dale a few weeks ago, when we were talking about the Great Divorce,
Yeah.
the majority of the tooling was in France. So how could it be How could it be Indian plastic?
Because they sourced a lot of production from India.
But the tools were in France. They were struggling to get the tools out of France. That's what I'm saying. I don't think it was Indian plastic.
Yeah, but if you look at the models that were produced by Hello Humbrol,
See, that's why they've lost the tooling, because it was
in the mid 2000s. They weren't made out of Indian plastic; they were better plastic.
Yeah.
So maybe they had a go at trialing some Indian plastic production in India, and they just said no, we're not doing that. And Airfix aren't doing the same now.
So 1984 is it Palatroy is when they owned?
1980. Airfix originally got bought up in 1982.
Yeah.
By, was it Borden Incorporated?
It wasn't called Palatroy then.
Palatroy was the marketing company for them. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
That's when they went over. That's when they went over to the kit built on top of a map on the box set.
That's right. Yeah, when they went to
that was about 1980, 81, and then they got bought up again by General Mills in about 86, didn't they? Or 87.
Yeah.
And General Mills, their marketing company was Humbrol.
They wouldn't have imported plastic from India, though, Hugh Gordon.
No, I'm guessing they sent a few jigs over to have use some kits, and then they brought them back over.
The biggest thing,
shots, possibly.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe.
That Hamden bomber that I built was not a nice experience.
Yeah.
It was bloody awful.
Yeah. Andrew Graves says, I'm with Moz. India was a Hornby idea.
Well.
But anyway, going back, I'm sure that when we talked to Airfix on one of the, I think it was one of the daytime chats when they released the kit, and I think Matt was there. Or something, or I remember one of the, and they said that they were going back to the original they're going back to a 1980s, 1984 recipe for plastic.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they did.
And this plastic we got now, I think, is phenomenally good.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's a good plastic. No, you thought it was a better plastic than the older stuff. It's not soft, is it?
It's better than the old blue tack plastic that I used to call it.
Blue tack, yeah.
But I'm not a fan. I've got to be honest. I'm not a big fan of it.
You're not?
No. What I can't stand is every time you cut off a sprue gate, you end up with a white mark.
Yeah.
I much prefer border models, Tamiya, ICM, Tacom. I just don't like it. It kind of, I don't know. I can't knock it. It's much better than the old stuff.
Yeah.
There's plastic out there that's better. Yeah.
Don't you find that you get the white mark when you use a Tamiya?
No.
You don't?
No.
Okay.
If you look at ICM plastic, when you cut it, it cuts like butter.
Yeah.
And I mean, the problem I'm having is particularly with this Eurofighter is, a lot of the parts, or some of the parts were broken off the sprue, and where they broke off, it's a chunk of plastic out.
Yeah.
Which would happen with pretty much any plastic. So I've had issues with that. I don't know.
All I'm saying is that when I put a part in on the Airfix kit and I glue it in, it's solid. It's a good joint.
Yes.
And I'd rather have a good joint.
It glues really well. It sands well. It does everything really well. But if you remember, I mentioned it when I did my Sea King build. I couldn't understand why you always get this bloody white mark when you cut the parts off the sprue. Yeah. And it's a bit weird.
But I am a traditionalist, though, Nige. I don't cut right, unless it's like a really, really thin part, I will cut offset, and then I will sand it back flush.
Of course.
I've always done that. I'm a traditionalist. But there are those who will cut up to the mark as close as they can.
Whatever you do, I find you get a white mark. Whatever you do. I've done everything. I've cut it way back. I've cut it off close.
Yeah.
Off way back and then cut it. I mean, that's what I generally do: is cut it off way back and then nip it off.
Yeah.
And then sand.
Yeah.
But
might this have something to do with the tool, possibly? I mean, have you tried like the Tamiya cutters and the God Hand, for example?
yes.
You have, right? Okay.
Interesting.
'Cause I mean, the God Hand blade is different, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not. I can't say it. God, yeah.
All right. Understand.
Much
Got
better than Tamiya cutters. But no, I mean, if you cut right up to it, if you've got a brand new pair of cutters and you cut right up to it, you know, you shouldn't really be doing that anyway. You should always, like Moss said, you should always back off.
Yeah.
You've got to try to cut up to it, but only if the sprue gate is flush on one side and not on the other.
Yeah.
Half the time, it's the wrong way around, and you can't get in there to do it anyway. So they're kind of a bit
That's another thing I've been doing recently, though, Nige. If I see say like here, if I see what I've been doing recently, I don't know whether anyone else does it. So say these parts here, these bits here. Do you know, I actually now cut them off from that part there, and then I'm able to maneuver the part in a nicer way. And you know, as I'm not turning a whole lot and trying to get in, I'm actually cutting the parts, cutting the sprues first, then cutting the parts off the little bit of sprue. I've been doing that more recently, especially on that Jag, because there are some quite intricate bits. Yeah, that's right. You know,
so you can get in there. I'm also one of these. I'm keen. As soon as I start a kit, I want to get rid of the sprues.
Yeah,
cut the sprues all the way.
the white is just stress related. There's nothing to worry about really, unless it's a clear part.
Yeah. It's definitely right.
That's 100% correct. But the trouble is, sometimes what you find is when you prime it, you'll see a little divot where that stress mark is.
Yeah.
And
you've got to spend ages cleaning the sodding part up.
Yeah.
Nigel, I've got to say, this suggestion of using a glass file on clear glass parts, fucking spot on, mate. It is. It's smooth as a baby's bottom.
Polishes the clear part, doesn't it?
It does. Where you cut it off the sprue and
amazing.
Fantastic. They're amazing. Where have they been on? And I got it for £9 off Brooks Models. So go to Brooks Models and buy yourself one of these from Display. They are. No, they're Ming one. Or Mong, whatever you want to call it. But super fine buffering. Fantastic bit of kit, that.
Yeah. Carl's got a good one.
Who has?
The crimpers, that's why.
Yeah.
Most cutters don't really cut cleanly. They crush and cause is that
crimpers. Right? Cutters are more expensive than crimpers.
You've got. I've always said, don't get the double-edged ones. You want the single-edge ones.
Yeah. Disagree 100%.
You'll have it both ways, would you?
Yeah. I like the I don't like the single-edge ones.
My Tamiya ones are only single-edge.
No, they're not.
Are you sure?
I don't think Tamiya makes single-edge cutters.
No,
they don't.
I will back Nigel up here.
Really?
Yeah, they don't make
because I emailed Nigel many years ago.
Did you?
Or I commented on the video, and I asked you what cutters you got.
Yeah.
So I got that pair, and they are absolutely sodding bomb-proof.
Yeah, my God Hands, which I was given at Telford to review, in November, and here we are now. It's April, so they're 5 months old, and they don't cut anymore.
You're good at ones.
I say that because Brooks Models sell them, and I support Rob at Brooks Models. But they've worn. It's like the the blades are exaggerated. The blades are like that.
Right.
If I
Okay.
tips, they won't cut through.
Now these,
Back closer because the blades are worn apart.
I know you don't like them. They're Master Tool,
I've got some here.
and they I use them to cut a tack-on kit off the sprue. Big 1/35th scale turret, Yamato turret that I did,
Yeah.
and they're bomb-proof. But the Voltcan ones that I got recommended by Moz,
Yeah.
useless.
I'm going to say that, but these Volcan ones still cut really well. Well, I've had these for nearly over a year now.
Yeah.
I've got 2 pairs, but the ones I've been using more of are the ones I can change the blade on. These ones. You change the blade on these. I've been using these a lot, and I love this little bit here on the finger. I don't know what it is, but just use, because they balance really well, and I'm using my little finger and I like that. I think that's brilliant. But I did have Tamiya ones. I thought they were single-sided.
No, they're double-sided.
No, they're twin-sided.
I don't think it's a single-sided cutter rod.
I don't know what company makes these, but they've got like an extending handle which makes the tips come together at the end when you put the pressure on them.
Yeah.
And these cut really well, but they're single-edged.
Yeah, I mean, is that up in the top right corner? Up in the top right corner.
No, that's me. Hello.
Hello. You're just showing some cheap steel ones, and I find they're great.
And you can sharpen them.
Yeah.
They're Tamiya, and they are single edge.
They're Tamiya, are they?
Yeah.
Well, I never.
Yeah.
They are beaten up. They do need to finally be replaced, but they are single.
So
these are my Tamiya ones.
What, have they got a number on them?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
not focused.
standard Moss.
Pull it out a little bit.
Hang on, I'm trying to get it to focus. Focus.
It's not having it. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, back just a little bit.
M19Y, is that?
MH19Y.
MH19Y.
That's not the partner, but that's just the serial number.
Yeah.
That's the one I got. I thought these were single edge ones.
Yeah, so the ones I've got in my grubby little paw now are single edged, and they're part numbered KF2. The interesting thing about these is, whilst they're single edged, there is one flat side, and the blade cutting side, the clearance side, is actually curved. Would you believe?
Really?
Yeah.
You're on the. There you go.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting. It looks a bit like that. It's not the straight edge here as you would expect to see. It's a curved edge.
That's because you've bent those in them.
No, it's not. It really isn't. But thank you anyway. Thank you for playing.
Is Nunu still on here? Is Plastic Alchemist still watching us? Are you still?
I think he's lurking somewhere.
Is he lurking? Is he?
Yeah, he's having
These are absolute dog shit. Do not spend your fucking money on them.
Lee Barrett. I put Lee Barrett's comments up here. He uses Xuron cutters. I'll say yes. They're fantastic cutters. They're mild steel. You can resharpen them, but you've got to know how to resharpen them.
Do you know what? Though I buy these for £2 off Temu or Amazon, whatever. I give these to people who are first starting off. And to be fair, the first 15 cuts, brilliant. Then they go soft. You know what I mean? It's like, But if you turn something like this, is just good enough. I've got loads of Sprue Cutters. I say these ones here. These I paid good money for these, 30-odd quid, and they're double-edged, right? And because they're metal, they slip in my hands.
Yeah.
And look how wide they go with that spring.
Yeah.
That's why you try and pick them up, it's awful.
These are these cheap steel ones here. You get free when you buy a kit from Dave Coley.
Yeah. He's got his own version of these, though, hasn't he?
Yeah. But the Tamiya ones I'm talking about, these are the standard ones.
Yeah.
74035.
Yeah.
That's what you've got there. They're double-sided.
These are double sided. This is the one I've got here, is it?
And then 74123 is
Yeah.
the same thing, but the blades are a lot slimmer, so they're really good for getting in tight places.
Yeah, those ones. They're the ones that you recommended to me, Nige.
They're the best cutters on the
Yeah.
planet, as far as I'm concerned. I've got a pair here that I've had for about 5 years, and they're still good.
There you go. Look at this. We've got 1, 2,
Same as mine.
3, 4,
He's showing you
5,
his collection now.
6 sprue cutters. But I do use
Moss-
these because you can change the blade on them. I think they're quite
Moss
good.
has got a cutter stash.
Oh god.
Moz is the Imelda Marcus of nippers.
Yeah, he
he's
is.
got one for every day of
Got
the week.
knife boxes.
I just want to show you my little box with cutters in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
On the back side, we got the 2 Godhand ones there.
I think Nigel's been
Shocked, Nigel, you haven't got any Gilbos.
No.
I have. They're in the garage. I love my Gilbos.
Nigel performs medical surgery at night time.
If you want to come round, you can get medical surgery for free.
Yeah.
Screen, please, Moss.
Yeah, do that. So I didn't realise why I don't use it very often, these Tamiya ones, to be honest.
Yeah.
I know that Dave Cody sent me these ones for free to try them out.
Yeah.
Which are a copy. They're twin edge, I think.
I've got some of them. Yeah, I've got them up here.
They're not too bad.
Can I ask you something, Moss? Because you might have an insight into what's going on with Airfix here.
Go on.
Are Airfix using 2 different companies to produce kits at the moment?
No, just the. Oh yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Because this Spitfire is Indian plastic.
Yeah.
And this 48 scale Hunter is the same plastic you got in the Buccaneer and the Phantom and the Mark 9 Spitfire 24 scale. Exactly the same plastic. So that must be being made in England, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, the 124 Spitfire was made in the UK.
So where are they making the other kits that have got this?
India. They use.
Elephant in the room is the plastic changed a few years ago in India.
Yeah.
It was the same blue-grey stuff, but it's harder.
Yeah.
So is that 48 scale Buccaneer they released late last year? Is that going to be dark grey?
Yes.
Yes.
Like the Lysander?
Yes, it's all the same plastic. I think they put it in the Spitfire first, in the 124th, and then they said to India, "These are the specs we want for our plastic," and they went for that. So,
because I know you're a fan of that dark grey plastic, but I'm not. I don't know what it is about the dark grey plastic. I don't like working.
what plastic?
You know the Tempest you built?
Yeah.
The Airfix post-war Tempest. That's dark grey plastic, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I've got that kit, and I really don't like the plastic.
That was before the Spitfire 124th came out. See, you got to look. See, this is what you got to look at. See, you have to look at the final years of Darryl at Airfix, which was the year of the Tempest, because that was the year he released the Tempest, and sadly he passed away a couple of weeks after they announced all this stuff.
So the old Victor, the 172nd scale Victor that was made in the UK.
Light grey plastic.
What plastic is that?
Light grey. I've got it in the stash.
Yeah.
Not light grey. Mine's dark grey.
Mine's light grey. Oh,
I suspect dark grey was used on the UK kits.
Did you buy the first?
Yeah, it's dark grey.
My boxing's got light grey in it, so it's the Shackleton I've got.
It says made in the UK.
Yeah, mine does.
Yeah,
because there was a time where plastic,
dark grey plastic, the same grey as the they use now.
I think Plastech did do a couple of kits for Airfix, like the Dakota. They did the Dakota for them.
They did the P40 as well.
P40, they did that. Yeah.
That picture specifically says on the box made in the UK, and it's a dark grey plastic.
But then I've got the 172nd scale Spitfire Mark 19, the PR photo reconnaissance, and that's the light plastic.
See, that's weird, isn't it? What's going on?
I have to say this, and I'm sorry, Moss, but you have to kind of ask yourself what's going on at Airfix, because you don't have conversations about anyone else's plastic. We don't talk about ICM's plastic being like this and then like that and then like this, and they need to get their bloody.
No, but you're looking at kits from the last 4 years.
Yeah.
So the last 4 years, since they released that Spitfire 124th, they announced that they have gone back to the 1980s or 1984's recipe. It's what I believe, anyway. And then, but there were times in the 2000s where Plastech were making or were manufacturing Airfix kits. Then all of it ended up being in India. Even the quick build stuff is now gone to India. And I've said this, I don't give a shit what anyone says. As somebody that's been building quick builds since ... and done videos on them ... the quality of the plastic from India is not food grade ABS. It's shit.
Yeah, it is.
Because I never seen
from Mr. Airfix.
I have never had kits so fucking badly scratched.
If you watch Moss's videos when he's building these kits, he's actually criticising Airfix's plastic.
Yeah,
Out the box.
I've seen the bus.
There's something wrong with it.
You're paying 30 quid for that.
Yeah, that bus
and
was
it's
dreadful.
scratched to fuck. And
The taxi was the worst.
The taxi. That was it.
Yeah.
The taxi had a massive scratch on the roof, didn't
it? It's a bit like watching obviously these Lego reviews, and they've got this big, massive, great clear part.
Yeah,
it's in the bag. It's in a bag with all these bits of plastic.
Yeah,
and it gets scratched to fuck.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's dreadful.
That was never like. I've got I think it's the Mustang. I'm sure it's the Mustang. One of them here that I built. I can't remember which one it was now. But it said on the box made in the UK. And I think it was I don't think it was Mustang, I know it was that one. I think it was the blue one. Because it then got shipped over there. And the plastic's softer now than and it just scratches. And let me have a look at that Spitfire that I bought. Hang on, here's a shout for you.
To answer lucky number 7's question, it's not low grade plastic we're talking about. It's different plastic, and the grey, the newer plastic, which is darker grey, has these issues with the sprue gates.
Yeah,
the older stuff is generally very, very soft. So it's not about low grade. It's just, I mean, ICM plastic is quite soft. Border mold is quite soft. Border mold is my favourite plastic on the planet. Absolutely. That's just my opinion.
Tacom's fucking hard, but no.
Tacom is literally a sprue cutter killer.
But you see, Tacom when they first came out, their first kits, there was no cement that would work. They were like ABS. Big problems with Tacom when they first came out. But now
it's so dense.
Everybody should just use the same plastic as Rayfield model, because that's down the middle of the road.
Yeah.
Look at Tamiya. The kits, they tend to be fairly consistent.
Yeah.
I don't believe that Airfix plastic is low grade, by the way.
No, I don't.
I'm talking about their quick builds. Now, the reason, because quick builds is like a Lego, right?
Yeah, I've just explained that while you were standing up, Moss. It's not low grade, it's just different.
Yeah. I'll tell you, in the UK, Plastech says this, they use food grade ABS.
Yeah.
So food grade ABS is
also known as what they used to use in Tupperware.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Tupperware.
No, what's not Tupperware? Tupperware is very, very loose.
It was very pliable, wasn't it?
Pliable. It's not.
Yeah, it was.
Nothing to do with Tupperware.
It's like the lid on your air fryer.
Yeah,
It's got to be scratch resistant. It's got to go in the dishwasher.
Yeah.
You know, it's a proper hard plastic.
But my point being is that when I used to build them, so you could go back and watch my quick build videos, and you would see the original ones. I never mentioned about scratches, and then and I thought they were all being made in the UK. It wasn't until I looked on the box, and I saw all made in India. I was like, "Fuck yeah!" That's the reason that they're using a lower grade hard plastic. But
do you think it could be something to do with storage in India of the parts? Because they put them all. I mean, in Britain, when you were doing that video, when you went to Airfix to have a look at the Mark 9 Spitfire, and
they were doing it.
And you started that vicious rumor about the Bearcat, didn't you, Moss?
Yeah, but they were very careful about how they stored those sprues, weren't they?
Yeah.
I didn't see that with the builds.
All those parts were in separate boxes.
Yeah, but with the quick builds, they were all just slung in a box, and you pick one out.
Yeah, they weren't scrapped.
Yeah, so I think that it's good to do with storage.
Or the other problem is this: that it's made in the UK, it hasn't got that far to travel.
Yeah, that could be part of it as well.
And because coming from India, it's got a long way to go, and the seas are quite rough, aren't they? Throughout the Horn of Africa, like.
Well, it's probably more to do with the handling of them, putting them on and off ships. I mean, those kits, the plastic's moving around in the box all the time, isn't it? Can you imagine what it's like on a forklift?
Yeah.
So
300 or 400 of them on a pallet.
I'm reminded here of a job I did some years ago where I was selling plastic wiring devices, so switches and sockets and so on. And a key component of those plastic wiring devices is a thing called urea. Yeah. And for many years, these devices were manufactured in the UK using a urea sourced from the UK, and they were very well looked upon in the business. They then exported their production to China, who obtained their own urea.
Yeah.
The material changed, and it was not so well looked upon as a result. So what the company involved did was to actually say, right, okay, then we'll go back to our Birmingham urea supplier and we'll send the urea out to China. Quality came right back again. It may very well just have to do with the materials that are being accessed in India being slightly different to the ones that are being accessed here. And if you were to change any one of the components, you may find, I'm not saying you will, but you may find that you'll end up with shall we say, a better quality product. Now, that is not to say that Airfix's plastic is poor quality, because I don't happen to believe it is. I've built the white plastic models, grey plastic, and you can use it. I would suggest that doesn't mean it's poor quality.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair point to make, and so I would stand shoulder to shoulder with you, Moss, on that.
Yeah.
I think that's an important point to make. But
I was just going to say it's when I talk about quick build and that they're two different. It's different elements, but I still think I love Airfix. I love the Airfix plastic. The softer stuff, it didn't really bother me, except for it wasn't until Nigel mentioned one of his videos that he was buffing up or sanding this Airfix kit. And when he was sanding it, it was coming off like bubbles. Like, it was like scraping the plastic. Whereas this new Airfix plastic, it comes off like a powder.
Yeah.
Because Nigel mentioned it to me, I was like, he's right, It was before me and Nigel became friends. I was watching it years ago. And he was sanding this plastic. And it was like, look, when you're sanding, it's coming up like balls, isn't it? Like it's like tearing the plastic.
Yeah.
But the newer stuff, it was like powder. And I thought, he's fucking right, but I never noticed that.
It does come off dusty.
Yeah. So
you were building
I will say, like Travis is saying, Hobby Boss plastic's very good.
Yeah, it is.
I like Hobby Boss plastic.
But I will say this about Trumpeter plastic.
I didn't say Trumpeter, I said Hobby Boss.
Hobby Boss are Trumpeter.
They use different plastic. It's different plastic.
Yes, it is. You're right, boss.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
different
But
plastic.
the thing is, with trumpeter kits, you do have to watch them for ghost seams.
Yeah, but Hobby Boss is a different kettle of fish.
Yeah, it's
Hobby
different.
Boss is a product that was built and designed for under 14-year-old people.
Hobby boss.
It wasn't. They didn't design them to the same spec as a regular trumpet.
You never see the egg planes in a trumpeter
No.
box. I'll tell you that much.
No, you won't. They were aimed at a different clientele.
Yeah.
It almost seems to be like there's somebody at the top of trumpeter, and if a kit gets made and he says, "I don't like that," stick a Hobby Boss label on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or stick an I Love Kit on the box.
Yeah, but if you look at the average Hobby Boss kit, they're quite simple, aren't they?
Well, no, they're shit.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are.
That Bearcat I built it was so simple, it was unreal.
Yeah, but that's an easy assembly kit, though, isn't it?
48 scale Bearcat, and
Yeah.
I think it only had about 36 parts in it.
That's why Moss likes them.
No, that's right. I think they're softer detail. I think it needs to be a bit more. There needs to be an enrichment. It's like I can't wait to start that trumpeter Bearcat I've got up there. Because that's what I think.
I've had it for about a year.
I know, shit, innit? I've got a Jaguar to finish, haven't I? I'll crack on
He
now.
likes stuff in his stack, though, you know.
I've had it in my stack for about 4 or 5 years. So
I'm on it. But it's interesting. Mine came with what was that? Sorry. Do you think the plastic being made in India under what can be under extreme high temperatures will make a difference?
No.
No, because the temperatures and the production procedure is the same.
Yeah. You know,
the jigs will all push the parts out under the same temperature. So I don't think that has anything to do with it.
Yeah.
I think the problem comes. I will say this, that it comes from when they sort the plastic.
Yeah, I think it's storage issues and handling issues.
the only time temperature comes into play is if they come into work and they haven't run 24/7 and they start the machine up from cold.
Yeah.
Banging the parts out. You have all your machines not warm and everything.
Yeah.
And also if like in the UK, you could be in December at -7 degrees, and in July at +38 degrees. If you run in the same process, the curing time, if they're just taking the sprues out and sticking them down one side, will vary. So,
well, I don't know if it's worth mentioning, Nigel, but I used to work in the automotive industry building seats for Nissan.
Yeah.
The first 2 or 3 foam seat pads we used to make all went in the bin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the tools were freezing cold and they weren't at working temperature, and when you pulled them out, they just ripped apart.
Yeah.
Hasegawa and Hobby Boss are the same company.
What?
Isn't Hasegawa and Hobby Boss the same company?
No.
Trumpeter and Hobby Boss.
No, don't go mixed up now. Yeah, sorry, Sorry, I meant Trumpeter, Sorry, I meant, you're right.
Hobby Boss and
sorry,
Love to get the same company.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry,
What
I meant was that what I was saying is that you wouldn't see an egg plane type kit in a trumpeter box. Not saying that it was, you're right there. But as I was saying, all the easy assembly, or they call them easy assembly kits that Hobby Boss do, like the Bearcat and all the others, you would never see anything like that in a trumpeter. Trumpeter are like they look at themselves as high end. And it's like when they do their master tools, they never mention Hobby Boss. They mention trumpeter, don't they? So it's trumpeter.
Isn't it like the difference between Airfix starter kits and not Airfix starter kits?
Yeah.
They just use a different brand, whereas Airfix don't.
I've been told, I don't know if this is true, this is just what I've been told. It's something like in China, if you have a certain volume of output, you are taxed differently than if you have a lower level of output. So what they've done is made companies like spring off the side, like Hobby Boss, Merit, Because Merit was an American company, I believe.
That's right.
Yeah, there were. Yeah.
And if you look at the Yamato they've made, that's gone to Glow2B, Gallery Models, and whoever the other one is, because they don't want to have a Japanese ship on their Chinese company's name.
Yeah.
It's all a bit, but it does seem to me trumpeter kits are generally very good. Hobby Boss kits are generally not very good. There are exceptions out there.
Yeah.
Got one up here, the Soviet SS-30 Spider tactical missile. It's absolutely awesome kit.
Yeah.
You look at their A26 Invader, it's an absolute crap.
What do you reckon here, Nigel, as somebody who's in plastic production? My belief on the quality of the plastic depends on the type, kind of aromatic hardener that is used or forehand.
I went to the loo, but I think Zinzan was saying this earlier, and there is a big problem these days in this broad global thing we've got. Let's just say I'm a plastic model maker and I buy my plastic from Vigo Model Works.
Yeah.
And my specification is ABC1. Vigo Model Works gets his plastic from a UK company to ABC1. Then someone discovers he can get it from China at a lower rate.
Yeah.
Is this spec ABC1?
Well, look at the issue, the issues that sort of like.
Hang on. Let Nigel finish.
I don't know that the supplier to him has changed because my supplier is still the same.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, my customers start complaining. They've got issues with my product, and I go back to him and I say, "What's going on?" And he's like, "Oh, we've changed. It's the same spec." No, it's not. It's not the same spec.
Yeah.
I blame the subcontractors.
To give you an example of this, Nigel, do you remember the Nissan Navara fiasco, where they had to replace all the Nissan Navaras?
Yes.
Between a certain year production date? That was because they sourced the metal to build the chassis from India.
Yes.
Yeah.
Instead of making them in Japan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, look at the
spec that was provided to Nissan.
Yeah.
Said the same thing, but it was Indian quality spec, not Japanese.
Nigel will fondly remember the Lancia Delta, Lancia Beta.
Yeah.
They scrapped the entire range of the Mark II because they made it made of crap steel.
Yeah. They were rust buckets.
Yeah.
But everybody said that about Fiat and Ford back in the day. If you bought a Fiat or a Ford from C-Reg up to F-Reg or E or F-Reg, that was when the strikes were happening for the iron, and they were putting the iron through rusty, weren't they?
Yeah. I can remember in 1990 welding up countless Ford Escorts that were 3 and 4 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unbelievable. You think of it today.
They went on strike, and all that steel work just went all rusty. And then instead of just binning it, they just rolled it out, didn't they? So the rust was getting pushed into the steel, and it was like a bacteria. You'll never see a C or a D Reg Ford Sierra on the road now because they rusted out.
It was very. I mean, there were loads of. Back in 1990, there were B Reg Sierras. 1984.
Yeah.
Were a lot better than C and D Reg Sierras. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree with that. My dad had a D Reg Sierra.
Yeah.
And we spent every year rebuilding the sodding thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were going up with the top of the.
Loading up shit things up.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Lovely car to drive and lovely car to service, but it's a rot box.
Mm-hmm. Same with Vauxhall.
Not being funny, the Morris Ital that I owned is still on the sodding road.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I wish my Fiat 127.
Do you know what the Morris Ital really was?
A Marina.
It was a Marina redesigned by Ferrari.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
It was designed by Ferrari.
Was designed by one of the Italian supercar companies.
Probably Pininfarina, like
Pininfarina. That's who did. Yeah, they did the trim on the car, but it was basically
Pininfarina redesigned the boot lid.
Didn't they do the same with the Ambassador as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Ambassador was the Princess.
Yeah, the Princess that turned into the Ambassador.
They turned the Metro into the Rover 100, didn't they?
Yeah.
We have the Carmen Ghia here, which was a Volkswagen, right? And that was styled by one of the Italian guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had like the Lancia Stratos and stuff designed by Bertoni, you know?
Yeah.
Like, fucking Morris Ital. No.
Yeah, but basically, if it was an Italian car, it was a rust bucket. It was an 80s, wasn't it? It just fell to bits.
Yeah.
Mm.
An Allegro. Was it the Allegro was the first dual fuel car, wasn't it? Petrol in the engine and diesel in the pickup trucks to get it to the place.
The Allegro was the first car I ever saw that had a square steering wheel.
Do you know what? My brother loved it. My brother had a courtesy car that was an Allegro. He loved it.
Yeah.
Every time a wheel falls off, Allegros.
Hey, I tell you something. This is a modern thing. I had a company car, or a rented company car, right? And it was a Citroen C5. I get into it, and I started driving, and I shit myself because the Citroen bag was right in the middle, in line. And I thought my steering's not working because I was turning the steering wheel, but the middle bit never moved. God, cry! I barely crashed the car.
I've driven a C4. That is scary the first time you drive it.
When you drive it, it's scary. The middle bit doesn't move. So when you're steering it, it's like the steering wheel goes in behind. So when you're steering it, the middle bit just doesn't move. So you're turning I'm not steering it because it's not turning. The middle bit's not turning.
Did you ever drive a Mark III Primera?
No.
Oh.
They failed because they had a knob that you adjusted the radio and then the heater controls and then three positions on that knob, right? Well, how the hell are you supposed to adjust anything when you're doing 60 mile an hour?
Yeah. But yeah, it's one of them.
Anyway, radio system over.
Yeah.
We've gone from scale modelling to our last
cars.
Yeah. In fact, the Allegro was more aerodynamic going backwards than forwards.
In fact, a Morris Minor was more aerodynamic than a Audi 100.
Probably.
Can you cast jelly in a Morris Minor mould?
I like Audis. I think they're a pretty class car.
Can I ask Nigel something before we?
No, you can't. We're going now, mate. Sorry, you have to wait till next
week.
Carry on, Joffrey.
It's about what we were talking about last week about what you have as a problem in modelling.
Yeah.
I can't work with resin because I can never seem to get it off the block without damaging the part.
Yeah.
So how do you manage to get the parts off without damaging
the parts? About cast resin or 3D printed resin?
I'm guessing it's cast because it's always on a block.
So
you know, like resin accessory parts like Valum use, for instance.
You need a saw.
Yeah, get a saw.
I had a saw, and the seat just disintegrated.
You're doing it wrong then.
That's right. Well, I'm asking you.
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
So what do you obviously you don't hold the part, you hold the block.
Hold the block.
Yeah.
Saw it off, leave a millimetre or whatever of resin on the block.
What do you just use a saw? Do you use a saw like from a model shop or?
I have a range of saws. I should
yeah. I know somebody in our group that uses hacksaw. You know,
I tried to use a hacksaw. It just killed everything.
Really?
Yeah.
CMK or Ask.
Yeah, you can get these little saws. This is a CMK one with a broken up blade.
Yeah.
These ones I think are better. The blades seem a lot more flexible.
Mm.
Yeah, that's what James was talking about. Ask.
They're awesome. You can get those from Hannants. In blocks, I use these.
Yeah.
I've seen those in the model shop.
Yeah.
I might try
Put them in a handle. Put them in a handle, active handle. And what this one here has like a serrated edge.
Yeah.
And this one obviously has a serrated edge because it's a saw, but it's not obvious. And this is my go-to for cutting off resin blocks.
Yeah.
Right.
Brooks Model sells them, by the way, if you want to go over to Brooks Models.
I think my local shop sells them. I've definitely seen them.
We'd be worried if Nigel had a bone saw.
A bow saw?
Bone saw.
Yeah, a bone saw.
Nigel looking like a Victorian surgeon.
There's a bone saw.
It's not bones that get sore, it's muscles.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good one, John.
Yeah, that looks good and old, doesn't it, John?
So I got this at Telford. It's made in America. I couldn't resist, you know. So I went all the way to Telford to pay £16 for
razor saw.
Yeah. So I haven't even opened it yet. Hold on.
I've just bought some white enzyme model stuff. Yeah. This stuff is made in the UK, shipped to California, and then it's shipped back to me here.
Yeah.
And one lot they sent me got lost. So they had to send me another set. And it's made up the road.
No, I get that.
Crazy, isn't it?
Anyway, folks, it's 2 minutes past 10. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I enjoy these AMAs, Ask Our Modelers Anything. I think they do open up a new thing. Next week, we'll have another topic. But if you do have any topics, please email me. The email or find me on Facebook under Mod651 Models and comments. Nigel, do you do knee surgery? Yeah. Is it possible that Nigel is Jack the Ripper? No, they found out who Jack the Ripper was. So, but yeah, if you have any topics you wanted to discuss, email me or put them on a list and we'll go through them one by one. And I think we've done nearly over 130. Well, I've done over 150 now, Airfix and Chills, but 130 on a Monday night. So we are going to have to go over some of the old topics we did in the beginning. And we've got new people, new participants, so they may have a different thought and a view on these things. But yeah, I do like doing an AMA because it does open up some things that you may want to talk about. So, and Richard W., which is absolutely spot on, don't use force on the saw or on the part. Let it slowly do the work or use a Dremel and sand off the blocks while being outside wearing a mask. Yeah,
cheers, Richard. I'll try that. Yeah.
But anyway, folks, thank you so much for watching us this week. We'll be back again next Monday. Thank you, James. Thank you, Matt, Captain VFC, Zinni, John, Alec, Sully, and Nigel. Thank you for joining us.
And Lexi, by the way.
And
Fenris.
Lexi and Fenris as well. Appreciate that. And see you all soon. Take care and goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.